Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Falcor's Mighty Adventures, playing Titan Quest Anniversary Edition with all the expansions, and my character Corvin, who's my second character, and obviously he's my better character because that's how Titan Quest works. But we're not going to talk about Titan Quest today because, as you guys know, Friday is Random Topic Friday, where instead of just playing a game, I talk about random stuff that happened in my life, just stories and philosophical things and complex things that I think about sometimes. And last time we talked about lucid dreaming. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I had a blast talking about that. I love dreams, anything to do with dreams. I think it's super cool. So we're going to talk about that. I already talked about lucid dreaming. I'm going to talk about dreams in general and my experience with dreams. And I'll tell you what I think is going on with dreams and what the dream world is like, based 100% on my own experiences. So maybe you guys have other opinions on this. Dreams, we don't know if it's fully subjective or not. Obviously, there's something in common. There's the rules, the same rules apply to everyone, which I think is very strange for something so subjective. But we still don't know if it's, our world or a common world, or it's in our head or not just in our head. We don't know that, so maybe you have your own experience. But I'm going to tell you what I've learned over my time in my adventures and my dreams. Just my opinion on what the world is like, and what I think the dreams are and why we have them. So as you guys know from the last episode, if you haven't checked, make sure you check out the last Falcor's Mighty Adventures episode from last Friday. I talked about how I how to lucid dream, and how I got into it, and when I was like 17 or 18, I did this all the time. I lucid dreamed all the time, and eventually, when you get super good at it, you no longer care about humping everyone to death in your dreams, and you don't care so much about like flying around and things like that. What I start to care about is trying to gain knowledge from different people in my dreams. Like, my logic was, even if it's all in my head, what would people in my dreams say if I asked certain questions? For example, I remember I was lucid dreaming, and I realized that like in my lucid dreams I'd be like breaking everything and just doing whatever I wanted and being just generally a really negative guy, like playing God and like ruining people's lives in my dreams. And eventually two people appeared, and they kept recurring in my dream, and they were always staring at me in my dream. And anytime I tried to do something stupid, they would grab me by the leg, because I was usually flying. When you're lucid dreaming, you're almost always flying. I was flying, and they'd grab me from the leg and smash me on the ground several times in several dreams, several days over the weeks. They would smash me and be like, they'd tell me, "No, you can't do this." And I'd be like, "Screw you, this is my dream, I can do whatever I want." And they'd be like, "No, stop it, stop doing this, you can't do this, this is bad. You can't just, go around bothering people all the time and destroying land and things like that." And over time I started to respect these people, and I started thinking, maybe this is not just in my head, maybe it's another dimension. Sort of like, imagine when you go to sleep, you simply wake up in another world. I started to think it's like that. And in that other world, maybe the laws of physics are different. That's the only difference. And I started to respect more the people, and I stopped caring so much about ruining everyone's lives in the dream, and more about asking them who they were and things like that. And over time, I started asking for information. And some of the people in my dreams would answer me, would answer pretty basic questions. They would answer them, like, for example, I'd ask if this is real, and they'd be like, yeah, this is 100% real. I'd ask if we're alone in the universe, and I specifically remember once I asked supposedly a wise man in my dreams. It was a guy with a mask, and he lived in a tent. And he said, okay, I noticed you're asking around, for information. This is very good. So I'll give you the chance to ask 3 questions. But please make it quick and don't ask super complicated things, because I don't think I have the time to explain these things to you. But, 3 simple questions, I'll answer them as soon as I can, like as quickly as I can. So I asked him 3. Now, I don't remember the first 2 questions, just because I'm stupid. I didn't write them down. But the third question was, how was it? So no, the second question was, are we alone in the universe? He said no, obviously, and he treated me like an idiot. He's like, no, retard, like obviously we're not alone in the universe. I can't believe you don't know this. Yeah, now I remember. And then I said, is there a limit to life in the universe? Because I you know how they say the universe is infinite, right? So I thought, like, if we're not alone, then like, is there an infinite like number of aliens in the world? And he's like, I can't believe you don't know this. Like, where did you say you were from? And I'm like, I'm Terran, from the Sol system. And the guy's like, oh Christ. And he's like, he explains to me that the universe is infinite materially speaking, but there's a limit to how much life there can be in the universe. And he didn't explain it he didn't explain it more than that. He basically like said maybe a couple words more, but what he meant to say is, like physically, material in the universe is infinite. Really, like as far as you go, you're always going to find material. But there's a finite, a very specific, limited amount of life that there can be in a universe at one time. So if let's say you've got this much life, it can't just keep growing. Eventually, people have to die for there to be the chance of people getting born. So in an ideal world, let's say, where no one has any disease and nobody dies, eventually we can't have more children. Obviously, I'm speaking not just humans, life in general, but like there's a limit to how much life there can be in the universe itself. And I never even considered this in real life, and this answer changed my life. Like, I'm convinced that this is true. I'm convinced that what this wise man in my dream told me was 100% real. And I learned other things in the dream world. For example, you know how many people that talk about lucid dreams say that, oh, I visited different planets, and I saw Venus and Saturn and Jupiter. Let me tell you something, guys. I don't know about you, if you've had lucid dreams, but we're pretty much stuck on Earth. Like, we're not allowed to get out. At least I'm not allowed to leave Earth in my dreams. The only way I can leave Earth and go to other planets is if someone invites me from another planet. So, for example, I've tried several times to fly out. Logically, if you can fly, just fly out of Earth. But there's a limit. Like, at some point, I fly and I can't fly anymore. Like, I'm flying like this and I go, like, I can't leave the atmosphere. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe everyone else can accept me. But I'm not allowed to go. The only time I ever left Earth was when it was in a bubble, actually. Like, someone communicated with me mentally. I don't know what I was doing. I was doing some random stupid crap. And then I got this like message in my head that said, would you like to meet the commander or something like that? I don't remember. He had a name and everything. And I'm like, who is this? And they're like, we're so sorry to bother you, but like, would you like to meet the commander? He wants to talk to you. And I was like, sure. And they're like, thank you so much. and I was covered in a bubble, and in like instants, like puff, like boom, shroom, flying away, poof, I was flying at like an incredible speed, incredible, unfathomable speed. I was flying, and I could see Mars, asteroids, Saturn, and then beyond Saturn, yeah, of course Jupiter too, but Saturn. And then I remember I saw Saturn, and that's where I like saw myself suddenly in this room where there was this being with what I thought was armor on him. And he's like, thanks for like accepting the invitation. And I was fully aware, like, remember this wasn't just a dream. I was lucid dreaming. I was fully aware that my physical body was sleeping, you know, somewhere in Bulgaria. I was fully aware. I wasn't just like in a dream, you know, like, oh, what's happening? I was like, damn, I'm fully aware, dreaming, and apparently someone invited me to leave Earth and go to like some other planet. And so this person in front of me starts questioning me, and I felt like it was not a negotiation, an interrogation. I felt interrogated, and the guy started asking questions that I didn't understand. One question was whether I believed that Terran humans were worth protecting. Apparently, like the big question was whether it was even worth it to live on Earth. That was like, I think that was the main objective of like this whole conversation. And he asked me a whole bunch of other questions, and I don't remember them. I'll admit to you, like, I don't remember the other questions. But at some point he said, "I'm glad we agree." I remember this. He said, "I'm glad we agree." And then he's like, "I'm gonna send you back now." And I went, and they sent me back in the same bubble, flying. And I remember my ears ringing, and everything was shaking like this. It was flying super quick. And I found myself back on Earth on the same beach. I was on a beach when they took me out, and I was on the beach again. And at some point I was like, man, I gotta wake up to write this down. And so I woke up, and there I was, in my bed, and I wrote all of this down. But I only remembered the last question, which was the one about whether I thought, humankind on Earth was worth the trouble. And I remembered that he had like white armor, but it wasn't made out of metal. It looked like ceramic. It looked like white clay. Imagine like, clay pottery. Like imagine this being had clay pottery, white, very bright white clay pottery all over his body. And he had a mask, he had a helmet. I couldn't see his face. Now, think what you want about this. Why am I telling you this dream? Because that's the dream that convinced me that we actually are not allowed to leave Earth in our dreams. I know this sounds super weird, and like, what is this guy talking about? And I know how it sounds. I know it sounds really weird and conspiracy theory, like crazy alien freak. Obviously he thinks he's been abducted. I don't think I was abducted. I just think in the dream, while I was aware, it could have been a normal dream, but in this dream I was aware, some being communicated with me in my dream. And thanks to this being's help, I was allowed to leave Earth temporarily in some kind of special way. And after the being was done talking to me, he sent me back. This is the only thing I think happened. Whether this being was real or not, or an alien, or a human being, or a past memory, or some cartoon that I remembered, I don't know. But I was fully aware because I was lucid dreaming. And in those days, I wasn't... By then I was so good at lucid dreaming, I always knew when I was dreaming. There was no confusion. It was wonderful. I also have another experience, which was pretty interesting. Time is sort of weird in dreams. You know how they say, oh, a second in a dream is 1 hour in real life? No, wait. A second in real life is 1 hour in dreams, or the other way around. I don't remember. But basically, time here is not the same as time in your dreams. Like, I think this has been scientifically like explained. That's why some of your dreams might seem like several days happened, and in fact only a few seconds passed in real life in this world. But time can get even weirder. Like, I remember I had a dream where I was walking in a forest and I came across elves. Now, when I saw the elves, I did like a click in my mind, and I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. I better like be aware of this, because when you lucid dream a lot, you go autopilot most of the time, and if something interesting happens, you like turn on your awareness. You're like, okay, I want to be aware, so let's focus. I'm in my bed, I know, but let's focus on the dream. So I started focusing, and these elves saw me, and they got very aggressive with me. These elves were, I call them elves, they were humans, but very tall, very white skin. Some of them had red skin, and some of them were blonde, and their sort of leader was shorter with black hair. And I think they were worried because I saw the leader and they were trying to protect him. And I'm like, I mean no harm. I'm sorry to bother you guys. I'm just gonna leave. It's fine. And the leader said, no, let him go. It's fine. In fact, make him come with us. You know, we might have some use for this guy. So one of the elves, which was a woman, a red-haired woman, very pretty. She was I could tell she was way older than what she looked. Like, you know, this person looked young, like maybe in her late 20s, but I had this feeling that this person was actually 100 years old maybe, or something like that. And apparently the leader had told this girl that like I was her responsibility, so I couldn't leave her side. And what might have been like months, I spent like months in the dream. It was just one night's worth of dreaming, but I spent months with this girl. And I remember she taught me a lot about like the world, but I don't remember what she taught me. Terrible. And she specifically made me try different foods. And she'd be like, do you like this? And I'd be like, no. And then she'd be like, okay, do you like this? And every day she would show me different food, and she'd be like, okay, I need you to tell me if you would eat this normally, if this is food that you enjoy tasting. And there was lots of that. She would ask me about the world on Earth. She would ask me about relationships on Earth. She was very curious about our society. And I spent, like I said, months. I don't remember everything, but I remember how we got really close. And it was nothing romantic, but I started to feel really close to this woman because she seemed so nice to me and so kind, and she answered any question I wanted. If I wasn't allowed to know something, she'd be very polite and be like, listen, I don't think it's a good idea if I tell you this. And what felt like months, eventually she was like, listen, you're gonna have to go back. And I was like, but I don't want to go, I'm happy here. And she's like, I know, but like it's not a good idea if you stay too much time here. And plus we have like things that, you know, we have to move on, like the elves and things like that. So she's like, I'm really sorry, and like I'm sure we're gonna meet again. And I was like, okay. And at some point she just said goodbye to me, and I was like, bye. And she left, and I woke up, and I can't explain to you, like I felt this loneliness, like I had lost a friend. I know it sounds super weird. In fact, this episode must be weird to you guys, but maybe, damn, we just got a really good item. This whole episode must be super weird to you guys, I know. But maybe some of you guys can relate. Maybe some of you have had a similar experience. But what I want to tell you is, like when I said goodbye and everything, I felt really lonely, and I felt like I lost a friend. And eventually, you know, you get over it like everything else. But there's more to dreams. Like the thing about these people that were controlling, making sure I wasn't doing too much mayhem, that was real, and that happened over several dreams until I behaved. when I asked this person, this wise man, about life in the universe, I'm more and more convinced that what he told me was 100% real. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure it was real. And this relationship that I had, this friendship I had with this woman, like this elf woman, very advanced spiritually and technologically beyond us. Like, she had some technology that I didn't describe, but very, very amazing technology. This experience I had with her was 100% real in my mind. Like, I feel it. So there's more to dreams. Now, I don't know if I'm going to talk about dreams anymore after this episode. Maybe, and if you really want to, I'll talk about more dreams I had. But there's more to it. There's rules. You'd think that dreams there's no point, no substance, no limits, but there are limits. At least in my experience, I've seen these limits. And hopefully, one of you guys watching might have had similar experiences. Please let me know. Write them down in the comment. I read all comments, as few as they are for now. So let me know, and just give it a shot. Give lucid dreaming a shot, and you tell me how serious and how real they really are. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Costs you nothing, and it means the world to me. And I love you guys. Bye-bye.